Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with green, white, black depths, Abzan depths, junk depths, call it what you want. This is very similar to the list we ran through on the previous stream, but the only change that I made was my grindy card in the sideboard instead of a Planeswalker being Tiles Tracker. And the reason for this is I'm just going to see it a lot more often with Green Sun Zenith and Once Upon a Time. And it's exactly the card I want for that slot. It's a card that's going to allow me to gain some card advantage, hopefully. It allows me to draw some cards around Spirit of the Labyrinth, which is key. And is just a really nice card in those kind of mid-range matchups where you want to be getting up on cards and just having a higher sort of presence on the board as well. So not just drawing cards, but also making a bigger creature is really nice. And hopefully tonight we see it in all its glory. But no other changes. I think right now I just want to build out this version and see how it performs over multiple leagues, and then make changes based on a sum of games rather than just one or two leagues. So that should be pretty cool. I'm going to start recording all my matches as well in regards to the actual outcomes, and have that in a spreadsheet, which should definitely help with little notes around how I'm winning the games. Legacy, nice. League, points, done. Gameplay, perfect. And hey, I hope you're all doing well. A big shout out to Card Hoarder, who sponsors this channel and allows me to get all the cards that I need, and also MTG Mate, which is an Australian online card seller. You can use code DUGS for 5% off singles. So definitely check out mtgmate.com.au if you are an Australian. This is going to be a pretty easy mulligan. One Wasteland is just not going to do it for the mana, so we will mull. I'm probably happier to keep this with dropping a knight. Alright, looking at Death Shadow, which is pretty interesting. They chose to shuffle off that Ponder, so here I'm pretty happy just to wasteland this Watery Grave. Watery Grave, a lot more of a resource for them than just Underground Sea, because they can daze it, replay it, lose another 2 life, and just continue losing life to get something like a Death Shadow online. But it looks like they're more happy with this one. They chose not to shuffle. Cradle. We have 2 white sources. In the main deck, we actually don't have a black spell other than Prismatic Ending, and I guess Grist to some extent. So I think I'm just going to lead on the Savannah and pass. This could also make my opponent think we're on Naya Depths and therefore have crop rotation open. So they might be open to, or less open to, wastelanding this Savannah. They were not. Hey Panda, I do think that Fabled is a sweet card for any sort of red version of Depths, for sure. It's got a lot of play to it, which is awesome. Once is pretty sweet, because we haven't actually played a spell yet. And I wouldn't really mind if that gets dazed. Mother of Runes is actually pretty key here. I think we're just going to go with Mum. Can be hit by daze, but again, we do have enough creatures just to start hopefully powering out through daze. But yeah, Fable of the Mirror Breaker I think is a really good card for Mav, especially in the right builds. Okay. I'm just going to play the Spirit out here, of course. No Fatal Push is pretty cool. Thoughtseize is fine. I assume they take the Knight here because it's just a 3-drop. Okay. That's all good. Thalia is pretty nice. Another Daze. In lands is interesting because it does take up, of course, the kind of same slot as you would find Valakut Exploration in, which is kind of proven itself as a very good card in that matchup. This is actually a really tough spot. I could take them off the Underground Sea, but I am losing the Dryad Arbor here, so I kind of need 3 mana in case we draw into another Reliquary. We might be in just double here, double block, and hope they don't have a removal spell. But the question is, if they're willing to attack with the Gomag here and trade these two, I feel like they have another threat, and I think with only 2 lands and a 4 life, that's just not worth it. So I don't think it's actually worth double blocking here, and even putting one of these open to being removed. Any sort of draw here is also just nice because it means that Questing Beast can hopefully be online as early as next turn. Snuff out. That is just going to be game. Tough. So this is going to be a matchup where I want the tracker. The games are hopefully going to go long. I don't mind the chokes. I don't think I need the plagues though. It's probably just these 3. The Collector Oof is a pretty easy drop. The Endurance and Remanats are still nice. Night of Autumn can most likely come out. And it could just be a once. Once finding Solitude is pretty interesting. I do like the Endurances seeing Gomag, and I assume they're also playing some number of Murktide Regent. Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job at keeping me at a position where Wasteland and Daze was so good. It could just be the Beast. Beast is tough because it allows me to pressure them without them wanting to really block it with a Gomag or a Death Shadow, while also having a blocker that's just really good for Gomag and Death Shadow. I think it's just a once. I still don't mind the 2 once. And so it's a 1 lander with Green Suns potentially against... I'm not a big fan of 1 landers in this sort of matchup. Like, this is a pretty nice hand. I'm pretty happy to keep this and probably just bottom... It's either the Caracas or the Plains. Caracas is nice with Thalia. I also like that we can planes pass. It could also be the Wasteland if we have the choke, honestly. We also have 4 Wastelands in the deck, so we can find them pretty early on. Alright. Hey Echo, welcome. They take the choke. Pretty happy just to throw the Thalia out here. I could lead with the Endurance if I really... or the Savannah to have double green potentially next turn if we draw a land for the Endurance, but I like just getting down the Crackers here in case we draw into Wasteland. That's a pretty nice draw. Especially seeing that they haven't actually cast a cantrip yet. But they do have Gurmag Angler. Or maybe even a Murktide. Alright. Pretty happy for that bird to come down as it is a second green source, which is nice. That's a really good draw. Yikes. I think the take here is Solitude. I'm not too sure why they might consider Endurance, especially seeing it doesn't kill the Murktide as a blocker. Wow. There's also the thought of like not attacking them and allowing them to play like a Death Shadow, but at the same time, if I'm not attacking, I'm definitely not winning this game. They're still going to ponder. Just to see what they're drawing into. Potentially even fill their graveyard for another big creature. Definitely playing this land because it might allow me to play this Solitude around days. But obviously a pretty tough matchup without seeing Swords to Plowshares. Okay. This definitely allows me to see what they have. They have 2 cards. Okay. Now I get to attack with the dash. Sure. Pretty happy to see if we can get that down. They brainstorm to find either choke or... sorry, Daze or Force and choke, Force and blue card. No, okay. Alright. Oh wow, they're pondering. They chose to shuffle as well. That's pretty huge. Yeah, nice. Alright. Do we want to change anything on the draw? I don't think so. I think on the draw I'm happy to take out the questing beast and bring in the once. Just to make sure our opening is just as consistent as possible. Because that opening few turns is where I want to be able to build out the board a little bit. Hey Elo, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Andres is be right backing. So this is, yeah, an interesting matchup. We went with 2 choke, 1 tracker. That was it. We took out 1 beast /1 once, 1 oof, 1 Night of Autumn. Play draw. Nice. Oof. Cool to see blue-black back, for sure. The choice of Gurmag Angler as a threat is also nice, as it plays around all these main deck blast effects, where Murktide, of course, doesn't. So having the mix is really nice, because Murktide, of course, is still a great threat with evasion, and can come down very early on. But to have a Gurmag that is a 5/5, you know, maybe double bolt can deal with it, or chump block and bolt, but otherwise you don't have things like Submerge to deal with it. Brazen Burrow or Bounce, I guess, is probably an okay way to keep it off the field, but who would have thought? Who would have thought a 7-mana 5/5 that, of course, delves would have seen Legacy play when it first spoiled? I'm sure there was some who were like, hey, this is pretty powerful, but I'm going to assume the masses didn't really see that as one of the biggest cards printed in, is it Fate Reforged, I believe the set is? Oof. I really hope Miskin Boo comes out on MTGO soon. I've heard rumors that they are moving towards releasing a lot of those cards. I believe Currency Converter wasn't on MTGO for a little bit, and then they made the effort to get it on board, so I hope they do the same with Maddening Hex and Miskin Boo, because I think those are 2 really good cards for the format. Maybe some blue players and combo players might be against it being too good, but we'll see. This is a fine keep. I can go for basics early on. I have a bird, some removal, some card advantage. Andres has gone to 4 cards, which is pretty tough, and yeah, that's pretty tough. But the reason that I really like this hand is that we have turn 1 bird, which is fantastic, because even if the bird gets dazed, we have the forest in play, which can't be wastelanded. We have a Windswept Heath if we want to go get a basic sword, basic planes for swords. We have card advantage. We have a second removal spell on Grist. Grist also really nice at just creating a bunch of 1/1s that can obviously block Gurmags and Death Shadows all days. So pretty nice. I mean, we'll untap, we'll draw a card, we'll draw a Ramanap, which is even nicer with the Windswept. Ramanap and Windswept isn't just mana every turn, it's also just having a chump blocker in Dried Arbor every turn, which is pretty sweet. We would then untap, draw a card. A second Plow is just fantastic. And it means that if the first one was taken through a Thoughtseize, then we obviously have the backup sword, which is really nice. One thing to always note against Death Shadow as well is if your opponent's at 8 life and has a Death Shadow and a Gurmag in play, the Death Shadow might be seen as a bigger threat, but if you swords the Gurmag and put them back to 30 in life, then you can find a way to actually kind of kill birds with one stone, or kill two birds with one sword, if you will. But hey, pretty nice to take down that one. Yeah, Minsc and Boo is really nice, especially just the static ability of always getting a Boo that you can swing in for 3 each turn is really strong. Especially against planeswalkers like Narset or Teferi that might be on really low loyalty once you get your turn back. Being able to take 2 of those is pretty sweet. Up against a Yorion deck. And I actually don't mind this hand for both. Even though it's a 1-lander, we have double once. So, pretty happy to keep this. Marsh Flats. Okay. We drew a land, which is great, so I'm actually happy to once here and hopefully find a Manadork, or just another land. I don't mind the Windswept Heath because it is a white source, so that's pretty nice. We can also hold up Sword here in case they are a Death and Taxes deck, just to get rid of Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Could still be a blue-white shell, which we did see at the NRG series, but I'm going to assume this is more likely... Oh, it could actually be like a Espervile deck. Yeah, Strix is going to be fine. Pretty happy not to kill that. Zenith. Okay. I don't mind just Green Suns for Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, that's very true. It could also be a Cephalid Breakfast Yorion deck, which I believe it was Javier Dominguez, who was the creator of the deck, who recently won a pretty big event with it, so that's a great spot. And there we go. Alright, pretty happy just to get a Savannah here. I could get a Plains, maybe I do just get a Plains. Yeah. No, I'm gonna get Savannah. I'm not too scared of Wasteland at this spot. I don't think it's worth playing around Daze here. I think I'm happy to try to get rid of the protection, untap, and then... I was going to attack, but now no, I think if they had Daze, they would have gone after the Swords to Plowshares. Now the question is, Thalia or Knight? I kind of like Knight. Going after their mana and forcing them to have a removal spell is pretty nice. Then we also just have 2 free spells in hand, which is quite cool. It's also worth noting that Endurance does not stop the combo, because they can just put everything back into their graveyard after you've put it on the bottom. Sentinel's going to be fine. Cradle. Oh, interesting. Okay. Pretty happy to start with once and then pay for it. Our own mother's pretty cool. Wasteland's also pretty good here, let's be honest. Is this just, yeah. Ah, but I can't cradle and... I think I'd rather get the mum down, because it also just makes the cradle... the Thalia, it also makes the cradle better. But this does open me up for a turn to the combo, if they do find a second blue source and have the piece they need. Okay. They chose to shuffle. So Wasteland here could be really strong. I think Wasteland next turn is better than finding a white source for the Solitude. The next one damage that would be dealt to Nomads and Core this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. Pretty happy to attack you with both. And then just Wasteland my opponent. Okay. I actually don't mind that. I also get to hold up Endurance and once here, which is pretty nice, because we can Endurance first and then once off the Cradle. So hopefully they attack with both here. No, no attacks. Okay. I'm not going to do either here. Another Wasteland would be lit. Okay. It's either Wasteland or Night. I kind of actually like the Night more than just Wasteland, but it's tempting. I think it's Night. I really do. I think just having that extra creature is just really good here. Night of Autumn. Huh. Only one white source still though, so... I'm going to attack with the Dryad Arbor. Keeping them off double blue is pretty huge here. They find one blue source. 2 white, Lion Sash. That's going to be fine. That's just a great target for the Night of Autumn here. Oof. That's pretty good. I actually want to go after the Baleful Strix here and then start attacking them. One, 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 one. Wasteland. Play the mum, and then we're looking pretty good. I don't think we're at a position where I need to hold up the mum with the Solitude. Nice. This is going to be an interesting game. I really like the chokes and the Plague Engineers. I don't think I need anything else. I think that Knight is probably better than Tireless Tracker, especially seeing their mana. The Oof is interesting because it does stop Shuko, but I think I can take that out because we have the Plagues coming in. The Onces are nice because they find the Plagues. Knight of Autumn is still good. I could see Endurance coming down, especially seeing it doesn't actually interact with the combo. I think the Plague is just better. Beast is interesting, but I think, again, Beast can probably just go. They could be playing Teferi and other Planeswalkers, but I think, again, on the draw, it's not really where I want to be. Force of Vigor is definitely interesting, but there's not too much that I'm worried about. I guess we could keep the Collector Oof for Aether Vial, which I assume they have in the 75. And they probably are playing a Stoneforge Mystic build, but they're probably getting Kuldra, so... It could just be going down on Onces. And maybe just keeping the Oof in the deck, because it does have some merit of being in there. Hey Wick, thanks for the follow. This hand is great. We'll definitely keep this. Hope you're doing well. Just an island. I wouldn't say they're a back to basics deck. They chose to not shuffle. Dryad Arbor. Not the draw that we want, but that's okay. Brainstorm. Next turn we can even just play Dryad Arbor and Spirit if the mum survives here. Ponder, sure. If they're pondering here, they're most likely, yeah, shuffling, because it is the kind of the post-brainstorm. Endurance. Let's take this time to get Dryad Arbor online. And then play out Spirit. And then we still have the Knight of Autumn for the Solitude. Stoneforge is fine. Hey, very cool to hear. Thank you for supporting me on YouTube. They're going to play this... Oh, they're going to play Vial, okay. So they have Shuko in hand, which means they probably have the other card as well. We drew the Oof, that's interesting. I don't really want to attack with the Spirit into the Stoneforge. One second, sorry. Let's go with... We're definitely playing the Verdant. Then we have 4 mana. I think it's just going to be playing the Oof and passing. Force pitching Cephalid. Okay. So they have 3 cards. One is Shuko. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to keep the Spirit back here. Turning off Brainstorm and Ponder is just so huge. Even though they've gone through 2 Ponder, 1 Brainstorm. I think the resource of Spirit being on the field is better than 3 damage at their face. But getting Shuko could also mean that they have Kaldra in hand. Recruiter. Okay. They get a mum. Sure. Honestly, I think here we might be stuck because we know they have Mum and Shuko, so I assume because they didn't recruit for another Cephalid Illusionist that they have an Illusionist in hand. So I believe they have one unknown Cephalid Shuko Mum, which means the Solitude takes care of the Mum end step, but then they can untap and just go for it. So I think we have to turn off both the Vial after they've probably cast it, and I don't think that does it, because if we Knight of Autumn the Vial, they then put in Mum, untap, and then just most likely have the combo. So I think what we actually have to do here, because Oof is in the bin, we can't Green Suns for it. I think we have to put it back in. Endurance beats the graveyard, but then they just keep like they get to mill themselves, we endurance them, it puts them back in their deck, they get to mill themselves, and they just go off again. So endurance actually doesn't stop the combo, I don't believe. Unless I'm missing something. Because I believe they can just keep targeting themselves and re-mill. Because my line is endurance myself, pitching the Sylvan Library. Actually pitching the, Sylvan Library, because I want the Knight of Autumn for the Solitude. Oh, Flashback Exiles. Ah, interesting. So you do it in response to the Dread Return target? I don't think we can beat Cabal Therapy as well, though, which is tough. Return target creature, yeah. This is kind of a cool what's the play, so Let's save this for later. And yes, that is Dexter. I'm gonna go with my line because I do think they will have a Cabal Therapy to Cabal Therapy us before they go off, and they have multiple creatures that they don't really care about. This also puts the Endurance back in the deck, which is kind of cool. Now they respond with Vile, put in the Mum. They have 3 cards in hand, including Shuko. Go and get the Oof, and then we have to just Solitude this now. We could wait for like a Plague Engineer, but I don't think we're there. My opponent says they don't, but they have bad news. Recruiter? Okay. Huh. Jailer's not too bad. I don't think I even played that. Sure. An exalted creature or green suns off the top does it. Choke's pretty nice. Sash is pretty good. I guess Choke also kind of answers the Sash, which is nice with stopping these two Tundras from getting there. Hey Gizlo, welcome. Did we take out Beast? Yes, okay. Ooh, Plague Engineer here does it. Plague would be sweet. I think in that case I will just fetch up to get ready for it. Here we go. No. I wish we played Tabernacle. I wish we played Tabernacle. Yeah, Noble would be cool. Ooh, ending. Two, 4, 6. We go to 3. Need something really good here. It's gotta be Plague. Yeah, I think I'll bring in Force of Vigor knowing that they play this Saga as well. Alright. They have the Force. Tough. I think looking at the deck, especially on the play now, is there anything I want to change? I don't mind a Force. We do have the 4 Wastelands, which is nice, but 1 Force is definitely nice, especially against the Vials as well. I still think Thalia is fine. Mum, Swords. Could just be a Thalia. I don't mind that. Yeah, I think it might just be maybe even like both Thalias. Bring back Tracker. Go a bit more mid-rangey. Okay. I don't mind this. Just try to maybe just ramp up into the ability to cast multiple Solitudes is pretty cool. QB's nice, but I kind of like that Tracker allows me just to keep drawing cards. Because there are worlds where, like, Source to Plowshare is just dealing with... thing is pretty good. They named Choke. Interesting. Oh, Grist is kind of cool. I actually don't mind Grist here. Double Scrubland. Okay. I don't mind Stoneforge here, seeing that we have double Solitude and Oof. Lion Sash. I mean, like, I could have responded to the trigger, but they just take double Solitude here, which isn't too bad. Swords is really nice. Okay. That's very true, HG Butt. Alright. What's my best get here? It could just be Endurance myself, but that's not great because I don't get to fetch straight away. Grist is sadly exiled. The question is as well, do I want to tap out? They know about the Green Suns. Yeah, I think it might be also just draw a card. And not even play the Verdant. No Gaddock. Gaddock doesn't do anything in this matchup. So sadly doesn't do too much in Legacy these days. Ooh. Okay. I could have played a land there and then Endurance, but I think getting the Mum online here is probably better. Teeg does stop Dread Return, but I don't think my opponent would go for it if they... I think there's a lot of things that I could be playing that stop Dread Return. Like Skoos stops Dread Return. I think I'm just getting in the air here with the birds. Yeah, maybe the endurance was better because the sash then couldn't become a 2/2, which would have died to the insect. Wow, they are playing a jailer. What do they take? Okay. Hey Star Fox, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Mum. I think I just messed up. I think I should have gotten Scrib Ranger. I think Scrib Ranger was the go there off Green Suns. And then I could, yeah. Scrib Ranger is definitely better there. Because then I could use my mana efficiently and also get the birds down. That was me just sadly throwing it. But hey, we can adapt. Hey Northern Angel, welcome. Recruiter for Skyclave, potentially. Cephalid. Yeah, that's Cabal. Tough. Yeah, it's definitely pretty brutal. A lot of 2-for-1s. A little bit like D&T. You can't just endurance because most Self-Lib Breakfast players know to Cabal Therapy first. And I think endurance is just the easy card there. It's the only real, I guess, out I would probably have. That Shadow. But yeah, they're probably the matches where, like, I have been considering that extra slot in the board just being a Sylvan Library, as it's also just obviously a turn earlier than Tireless Tracker, and you can be more aggressive with it. You don't have to rely on other cards. Like, there's definitely games where you get Tracker, and then you just draw Gas, which is great, but then Tracker's just a 3-2. That doesn't really do a whole lot. At least Library in the matchups where I want it, things like Depths, any sort of fast combo decks that don't really care about life is usually pretty good. Like, it's kind of nicer to draw effect, but I think the 3-drop slot for Green Sun Zenith is pretty heavily tied up. Like, Opposition Agent was also consideration as a one-of, but I think as a one-of you're just never going to see it. You do have the onces to find it, but I think if you're going to run a creature in the sideboard, it has to be either a 2 or 3 of, or a green creature. But hey, we can bounce back. We can bounce back. We got this. Damn, those are a lot of trophies. Newton's up to 13. Very cool. A lot of people with trophies. But hey, if you enjoy this content, guess what? Yeah, I wouldn't say Library's there for like Ant or Test, but I do say I think Library's a great card against like Naya Depths or Green-Black Depths. Or in the sort of mirror is pretty sweet. Really just the Dark Depths decks. Even like a lands deck, I'm pretty happy to have the Library on the board. Need Leo? Leo would be cool. I just don't like opening myself up to having the mana base where you have like the drop. Because I'm not a big fan of playing cards in my deck that don't have the ability to cast them. But Leo is a pretty great reason to try a splash for sure. Alright. On the play with a mulligan. Oof. I got a mulligan this as well, let's be honest. Okay, it's a pretty good 5. I'll keep this and bottom these two. I'm going to lead on the Windswept Heath because it can get basic planes in case of something like a turn 1 Blood Moon. Okay. The Endurance actually makes me want to get fetches here though. Sorry, dual lands. So I'm just going to go for Savannah. As good as Bayou is tempting, the chance of drawing Grist is pretty low. I think Thalia here just has the highest upside as it can't be bolted. We have multiples in the deck, of course, so if we do draw the second one, it's quite nice to have this one out there. But in any sort of Scalding Time matchup, if I can get down Thalia and Spirit, I'll be a happy boy. Double time. Happy to attack first before we do anything. I could cast the Endurance now, but pretty happy to go for Thalia. And then there is a world where I just want to play Windswept Heath into Spirit instead of showing the Wasteland just yet. Wow. Unless they're just like show and tell, and they just go like Ancient Tomb show and tell, that would be pretty brutal. Tundra. Pass. Someone might have Hull Breacher potentially. Library's nice, but we do have the Spirit. I'm going to take them off white here before anything. See what they do. Surely it's Hull Breacher. Oof, okay. That's pretty good. Fire Ice is a really nice card that I've been seeing picked up by blue-white control decks to just like have a decent 2-drop that does something. But like Narset here or Teferi bounce is pretty strong. That's why the Windswept here being dried up potentially is quite nice. Yeah, like I actually don't mind if they just bounce the Sylvan Library here. I wonder how many Teferis Arbor has killed. A few. I'm going to say like with Elves as well, being a pretty dominant format. I could see that for sure. But pretty nice blowout hitting both Spirit and Thalia. Like 2 pretty key cards for me in this sort of matchup. But if I can get any value off this library, I'll be so happy. But it looks like it might just be getting Prismatic Endinged. Pretty obviously have Endurance in hand, but I think just playing Endurance next turn is probably better than anything else. Oof. Yeah, it's pretty close to a concession. Fire Ice taking out 4 creatures, just so good. But I want to see more of that deck before we concede. Not sure if they're like a Hull Breacher version or like a Days Undoing version. It's just like straight control. Across the Syndicate. I love that terminology. I think I just want to get Scrib here. It allows me to have 4 mana next turn. It's also just something that can't be bounced with Jace or Teferi. I could be thinking about Gaddock Teeg here as well. I will attack as well just because Snapcaster Mage with Teferi is so good. them having the Snapcaster is also just a really nice resource for them. Sanctuary, get back iteration. This is a matchup where I like the chokes. I like the tireless tracker. It's probably just those three. Any sort of blue-white deck is going to be an uphill battle because they usually have a lot of answers for creatures, starting off with 4 swords for prismatic endings, and then things on top of that like Planeswalkers, Snapcaster, Fire Ice, as we saw, Terminus, Supreme Verdict. I'm going to say they're not a back to basics deck either, so I don't think I need to bring in Force of Vigor. But like, is it Staticaster? Definitely a card to consider. At least if they Teferi bounce, we get to stifle the trigger. Okay, Mentor's a great way to start winning. We know they have Force of Will as well. Probably should have also attacked Narset first. Yeah. I think it was just incorrect to cast this main phase 1. Like with the amount of mana they have in spells in hand, I'm probably not blocking anyway, so... Yeah, definitely a little misplay there. I'm definitely not attacking this, so I would probably attack with the Monk. Okay. Don't mind just passing here and see if they end step Brainstorm. But I assume they don't actually have an instant, so... Because if they had an instant spell, they would have attacked with the Monk as well. So I think here... Oh, no, the Teferi, of course. That's a... This game is definitely gone, but I'm definitely showing things not to do. Like, don't pass from your second main phase if your opponent has a Teferi in play and you want to Swords to Plowshare something. This most likely means they have a second spell. Okay. Really costly. I think this might be a matchup where I just take out the onces and just keep all my gas in the deck. And just take out the 3 onces and add in the Tireless Tracker and the 2 chokes. Plague Engineer is definitely interesting, especially with the monks, but guess we'll see what happens. The Oof can actually come out. And I think the Cradle can as well. But 21 lands without the onces is pretty rough. It could be like 1 Solitude. I don't mind taking out a Birds either. I definitely don't mind something like this. I just think Cradle isn't that great when they have so many ways to deal with our creatures that typically it's going to be tapping for 1, possibly 2 before it goes back down. But I think this is pretty good. Also, just having more 3-drops means I probably want to have the onces in there to make sure I'm hitting my land drops. I don't think this is like a Deafening Silence matchup. I think that's obviously a bit of a stretch. Even though they are running things like Expressive Iteration and Mentor, I don't think that's... Like, I think this is straight for combo. I don't think there's a world where we start bringing in Deafening Silence against just a mid-range control deck. Solitude having Flash is definitely interesting, though. But I think I'm happy just sticking with what we have. The old 1-lander. One lander with Green Suns for Dryad Arbor if we don't draw land. But like again, this is just one of those matchups where my main priority is hitting each land drop more than casting spells each turn. Okay, this is a lot better. It's going to be the forest we drop here. Just a Savannah into Bird allows me hopefully turn 2 Thalia and Wasteland. And turn 3 we have Night. Island. No shuffle. For that reason, I don't mind just going for Night then. Just to play around Fire being so good. Yeah, it also means next turn if we draw a creature, we could potentially 2-spell. If they force this, it most likely means they have dual lands, which is great for us, seeing we have double Wasteland. Otherwise, I don't think you really care about this as a threat at this stage. Force pitch snap. Okay. That's pretty huge because it's kind of like a force pitching 2 cards in a way. Alright. And there's that second card, which is pretty sweet. So now they could potentially Fire Ice us, but... I should have actually attacked first in case they have Sword Plowshares. Nope, okay. It's pretty sweet. Just want to keep flooding the board a little bit. Just keep that pressure going. Because it's not often against this sort of deck you get to double Wasteland straight up. Oh, that's pretty sweet. They could have Snap here, but I think that's fine. Tracker. Land for turn. Trigger. Just hope it's good enough. This feels like... Wow, Expressive Iteration. Huge. They've already played their land for turn. They can't cast anything like a Bauble, so... They could actually even lose this turn. Yeah. I don't mind drawing a card first to see if we can... Oh, no, I don't want to draw because of the Spirit. So let's just go land, clue, attack, and then draw in that turn. So we attack for 1, 3, 5, 9. Put them to 3. No double white either for Supreme Verdict. Ooh, alright. On the draw, I don't think I want to change anything. Pretty happy just to run this back. Like, my only consideration is the extra Once Upon a Time over one of the creatures. The only thing with Once in this matchup in particular is that it is great to just hold up for their turn, but if they have a Teferi on the board, it's a little bit awkward to do it in your turn and then try to cast a creature as well. I think I'm just going to run this back and not overthink it too much. It's a 2-lander with a forest for the Scrib Ranger. We have turn 1 Mum. Pretty happy to keep this. We have multiple ways to keep actual threats off the board as well. They mulligan to 6 cards, but obviously have a lot of ways to get back in the game with card advantage. They chose to shuffle, so I think the only other play other than turn 1 Mum here is potentially turn 1 Manadork, so we can turn 2 Thalia and Mum, or Wasteland. Okay. Ooh. I actually really like Library here over Thalia, but we're definitely getting Savannah. So Library, of course, means next turn, if we have the Thalia in play, we do have to draw an extra land. The turn after that, even if we don't draw a land, we can have Scrib Ranger, re-enter the Savannah, which is nice. I think at this point I'm happy to Thalia just to tax them, because next turn they have like Narset and Teferi to enter the library. I'd rather have a creature in play. I could also hold up the Scrib Ranger. That's pretty interesting. Holding up Scrib Ranger allows me to have a creature in play that they can't bounce with Teferi, and also gives me 3 mana next turn no matter what. But it doesn't give me a black source. I think it is just going to be the Thalia. We have a pretty high chance of drawing a land. The Caracas also forces them to either force this, nice, or deal with it next turn before we untap with the Caracas. That makes me think they have a 3 mana walker. Ooh. We actually don't have a white card here, so we can't ping it. Now we do. Unless we want to Scrib this turn. They only have 1 card though, so I think we actually just Solitude this now and then play the library to get back the card advantage that we lost. The nice thing with Caracas in this deck as well is that in the mid to late game where Thalia isn't as relevant, you can return it to your hand to hopefully get another Solitude going. Okay. They have 1 card left. Oh, we hit a Wasteland. We can take them off double white, double green. Pretty happy just to take them off the Tundra here. It's interesting though. Yeah, I think Tundra's fine. It could be the Plateau because we have Choke. Oh, they have Swords to Plowshares in hand. Surely that means they have Swords to Plowshares in hand. So I'm going to actually go with the Library this turn over holding up Scrib. Actually, I can't hold up Scrib because the Teferi, I have to cast it now. So let's just go with Library now, pass. Grist would be really nice here. Oof, okay. Put on top, but I'll pay for the Wasteland. And then we'll fetch up for Grist. Bayou, because it can be bounced with the Scrib Ranger. Green Suns goes to the bin, that's fine. Grist being really nice because it applies pressure and is also just an onboard answer to Mentor. I don't want to say the card, but there's 1 card my opponent needs here to kind of get back into the game. Or get back to the level that they want against this sort of board. And I think we both know what it is. I think we all know what it is. It's a card that a lot of people are saying should get banned from the format. And it sounds like they have it. It looks like they have it. Oh, they're going to fetch first. Okay. No. It's not the card that I thought. Narset's like a great draw because it turns off the library. Oh, this does kill Planeswalkers, which is really nice. And that's the card. They found Expressive Iteration, so I guess we hopefully find another Wasteland. Birds. Let's go with Wasteland. Attack Narset. End of damage, I'm going to take them off this plateau. Nothing? Okay. It's actually pretty tough. My thought was to kill the Teferi, but I kind of want to kill the Narset because of the library. But I also should have just killed... I should have attacked the Teferi then to put it to 2 so it can't actually bounce to the library next turn. Which is a pretty huge misplay. It's really about me just taking the time to say, hey, we have 15 minutes left. I should really think about what I'm doing for my whole turn before I do one thing that might lead to me... yeah, doing obviously what I don't want to do, so... Another one of those little plays that really lines up. The reason I attack the Narset is because it means if they want to trade it in for another card, they have to lose it. But I think I just have to eat it a little bit here. They find a Tarn, which is pretty huge. So they do get that free spell. The question is, do they pop it? They do pop it. Okay. Play the library. Play the Hierarch. Attack with Script Ranger. Put this on top, but I'll pay for the once. I'll attack with the Script Ranger first. I'm gonna put the basic into the bin. And then once. I think I'll once now. Just in case we find like a Thalia. Or a Wasteland. No, just double Forest Plague. I don't mind just making the land drop, then having the Plague. Okay. Not too much we could do there anyway. We do still have Dryad Arbor in the deck as well, so a fetch land plus Grist is a removal spell. They chose to shuffle with that first Ponder. A choke here would also be really nice. A lot of really good draws off this library if we can untap with it. Chose to not shuffle. Grist is pretty amazing once it's down. Narset, okay. That answers the Sylvan Library. They find an Expressive Iteration. Can we find Choke? One time deck, come on. Oh, I can't, of course. That's fine. Do I want to put all this back? I don't mind that. We also know about Snapcaster Mage, so I could put all this back into the deck. I think it might be Endurance them and then just trade the Endurance for the Narset. Okay. Yeah, taking up Grist is still very good. Fire Ice does deal with Grist here, but what I was really worried about was like Days Undoing. Days Undoing was the card that I was really scared of, so getting rid of the Narset was kind of my #1 priority. Come on, choke. Oh, so close. I don't mind just double spelling here and keeping the Green Suns. But being at 6 against a Mentor deck is always pretty scary. Oof. And hey, if you guys want to see the latest content on the Green Sun Zenith, here is my first part report of the performance of Naya and a little bit of Abzan depths at the NRG Series 5K last weekend. Part 2 will be coming out later this week, looking at the sideboarding and kind of weaknesses of the deck. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Grist being playable with Cavernous Souls is so nice. Yeah, it's very true. Also, Grist just being able to be found with Once Upon a Time is very cool. I really, really like it. I think it's awesome. I think it's done a lot for Elves as well. It's having removal through Green Suns. Alright. Not too bad here, because we do have the Plague Engineer, hopefully, for the... Oh, they're going to let the Mum survive. Interesting. I think we just go with Monk here. I think I attack the Teferi here, but it's... No, I don't actually think I do. I think I just pass back. I think I should have actually Green Sunned for Dried Arbor there to get an extra draw and just build up my mana a little bit. I was going to say this feels like a Staticaster. Going to go with red here, I guess, if we do get to get protection. Because of fire. Jeez. This is currently game 3. We lost game 1, won game 2, lost game 3. Pretty tough. I think even just like not hitting lands off the library was pretty tough because I wanted to get to the stage where we could double spell, but obviously just wasn't there. Yeah. I mean, we can try, but not looking great. We have to just let this slide. And then they give protection. Yeah. Tough. Definitely a tough one. Not too much in the board for like specific hate for these sort of decks. Like Choke is okay, but it's really a case of trying to get Library on board. But with Prismatic Ending and a few other cards that have been printed, it's a lot easier for the deck to get Library down. Yeah. And little things there that snowballed as well. Like little changes for me, like attacking to Fairy and then instead of attacking Narset and then of course trading with Narset. Little things that catch up. And especially with a fair deck like Mav, if you're going to make a small mistake like that, it's going to snowball really badly. So you just got to take your time. And I think a lot of times there we just rushed little things. Kozilek was pretty good. It did deal with like 3 creatures and a few tokens. But that's exactly what it's there for. Court of Grace, I think, is pretty tough because we don't have great ways to control the board. Like, Mentor can get around Court of Grace pretty easily. And, like, that's a deck there that's very hard to take the... take the crown off once they have it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe, like, I'm just thinking too much about Days Undoing. That I shouldn't respect Narset so much. And just keep building out the board. Which also allows me to tick up the Grist and get out of the fire range that killed it. Definitely a lot of little things. Alright, Necro. Pretty happy to keep this. Opponent goes to 6. But yeah, I think in a deck where you have a lot more control over the board, Court of Grace is pretty cool. I think it's just going to be the Endurance here in case we are up against a combo deck. And I'm just going to lead on the Savannah. So they know about the Endurance as well, so I assume here they have a Pact in hand. Which is pretty brutal. They've one card left. Tough. I like the forces, I like the traps, and I like the deafening silences there. Forces mainly for leyline. Swords. Spirit. Solitude. Prismatic. I don't mind having like one prismatic just for an early Chrome Mox or something, but overall you just need to have some free spells and hopefully they get there. I think this is a case of if we get to turn 3 where Plague is relevant, I think we're winning the game anyway, which is nice. It says Trap and Oof, which is... I probably can't get much better than that. It's also just like a decent hand as well. Opponent mulligans to 6 cards to 5 cards. We get to go Savannah into Bird, and then turn 2 Dried Arbor and Collector Oof if we get turn 2, and then Knight the following turn. Alright. No pre-game effects. Angel's Grace is pretty interesting. 2, 3. Oh my gosh. Tough. Not much I can do there. But yeah, Angel's Grace is cool. Silence is pretty interesting as well. Silence I've seen do some work. Pretty cool against, yeah, most of the combo decks. Even like Reanimator, Silence is pretty strong. Alright, May. Sweet Hand, I'll keep this. Alright, another combo deck. I guess in that case we go for Bird to try to go for turn 2 Oof. Grim's fine. It's going to be Mum and Library here. Library finding Wasteland's pretty key. Hey Kevlish, very cool. That's awesome to hear. Okay. We can't actually do anything here because the Grim defense grid, so we can just 6. Wonder if a gamble for Burning Wish potentially to find an answer for the Oof. And then it gets a red source as well. Relay, okay. There's Burning Wish. Really want to find Wasteland here. Sadly can't Solitude, as that is a way. I probably don't mind. I do want to Swords the Burgie, I don't want to Caracas it. But I don't mind going down to low life, I don't think. I guess like Grape Shot is kind of an issue, but... Yeah, so Defense Grid says each spell costs 3 more. And Solitude, even though evoked, is still casting it. I actually don't think I want either of these. Yeah, that's a pretty tough spot for them, because Mum Collector Oof also just covers a lot of this stuff. Alright. Beast out. Solitudes can probably come out here, especially with the D grids. What I really want are the Force of Vigors, the Traps, and the Deafening Silences. The Spirits... I guess the Spirits do stop Echo. These are all good. I think the Onces can come out for sure, seeing we're really looking for non-creature spells. Solitudes, the Grist is still a little bit too slow. I don't mind the turn 1 mana accelerants because of turn 2 Green Suns for Oof. The Mum's Protecting is relevant. I could see Ending coming out, seeing we have so many ways to answer stuff, like just bringing in the forcings for the endings seemed great. Hey Mark, welcome, hope you're doing well. I'm going to play your deck on Thursday. I made some like little minor tweaks to like 2022. It's actually pretty interesting playing... Where are we? Dead Guy. Is this it? Yeah, I was thinking about like a Chrome Mox version. So you could turn 1 some stuff like Thalia or Duck Confidant. And then some things like Sudden Edict and Turek seems pretty strong against any sort of like Prismatic Ending or swords or like D&T deck. And then like obviously Color Draw is still good, which I think was in there, but yeah, kind of focusing on like the Mum, Stoneforge, Thalia, Dark Confident, Voidwalker version. And then obviously Dark Confident, Voidwalker sometimes are ways to get back the card disadvantage. Yeah, I'm not too sure on, like, I think the Chrome Boxes are worth it because we have a lot of ways to hopefully get back that card advantage in like Stoneforge or Dark Confidant. And just like a turn 1 of these seems so strong that hopefully it's get. Sudden Edict, yeah, Edict is a rough one. This is tough because this is like a sweet hand, but on the draw against Mono Red, I really want to mulligan to a hate piece. And this is probably it. Like Force with Endurance, we have Mindbreak Trap, and we just have a plan. So I'm going to keep this in bottom the Knight. We have a turn 1 Mum, which means that any like turn 2 Hate Bears are just going to be on point, which is pretty sweet. But Grid's pretty good. Grid kind of changes everything. But yeah, Grid with Echo is very strong. Wow, they had a bounce spell and Echo. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So we kind of have like this. I guess this is kind of like removal, plagues, Stoneforge, Chromux, and then just put some of the hate pieces over here. I went with double plains, double swamp, but maybe we don't need all of those. I like the Urborg as well, like maybe a second Urborg for the Dorothy. Like even like Inquisition main deck could be a thing. I'm not sure on like the Kaya's Guile. Like I would kind of say like that's a maybe. Yeah, but I did like the thought of just all of this being pretty much play sets. Oh, sweet. Okay, we lost. We are running this back. Like even Solitude potentially with the amount of white cards in here. I guess there's actually not that many. There's actually more than I have, but I guess Maverick has an easier time of actually dealing with it. Yeah, see, I guess the vials are kind of where the Chrome Moxes are, and potentially like a vial version would be pretty cool. And maybe I should, like, if you gain any interest from this version with a vial version instead of the Chrome Moxes, then that would be pretty sweet. We want to play first. This is nothing. This is way too slow. Okay. We got double Deafening Silence as well. We're going to keep this in bottom. At least Mum. I don't mind the second silence. So there is a world. Unless we just bottom a silence here and just try to go silence into, if we don't draw a land, Green's hunts for Dryad Arbor. Yeah, I guess because of Echo, that's a reason to. They kept 6. We want to get Savannah. Too many mana sources though, 23 lands and Mox. Yeah, okay. That's a great point. I didn't actually consider my mana base with the Chrome Moxes. Okay. They play out a Mox Opal, sure. Second Mum. But yeah, I'm not too sure, for anyone in chat who's played Chrome Mox before, how many lands would you have? Like maybe 20 and 4 Chrome Mox is essentially 24 mana sources, which means you could, like, I guess you don't need double white unless you play Council's Judgment against like Mono Red Prison potentially, but then you have the Chrome Moxes anyway for white sources. A lot of things you could play around with, like even like a second copy of a Jano is pretty cool. You would count Moxes as like 0.9 lands? Okay. The big question here is do we get a second turn? You only play Chrome Mox in Dragon Stompy? Yeah, that's true. 20 or 21 with 4 Mox. Yeah, like I think you could get away with just the 1 planes. And then maybe even 1 less fetch, as fetches aren't that relevant. Yeah. Opponent definitely thinking. They play LED. Okay, that's their land for turn. Ooh, that's pretty huge for us. Chrome Mox, pitch. So now they do, I guess they don't have Echo open yet. They do have Void open though. Second Thalia. Mom. Nothing end step. Oof. I think Wasteland into second Mum here is just better than Knight. Although Knight is pretty good. See if they do anything end step. Bounce on this. Sure. Take them off the Volk. I assume they exile nothing here. I guess Berg is a good reason why Knight is pretty strong, because then we can also find Caracas. Their last card kind of has to be Echo, or else the Deafening Silence next turn is just turned back on. Wow. Just a pass. Unless their last card is another bounce. I'm not going to give protection and swing here. I'm just going to hopefully untap once more. Burning Wish in hand and miscounted. Could definitely be the line. Double Mum's just great because it means we can save the Thalia and another Mum if we run into something. Grim Monolith. Okay. Spirit's pretty sweet. I don't mind attacking with Spirit next turn, because at least if they block with the Burgie, then we can just get protection and actually trade. Whereas the Thalia, they can always block. But Spirit just turning off any sort of echo lines is quite nice. That's quite nice. Slowly, like, constricting my opponent through multiple avenues, which is nice. Protection, tax, tax, tax. I think the only thing better than drawing a land for a night is probably Force of Vigor. And I guess with Deafening Silence in play, there's no real need to hold up, but hey. We went 2-3, and that was mono red. Where are we? Is this our list? This is our list. No, it's not. This one. Not too much to say. Like, I think we have enough for some of the combo decks that we just have to get lucky with how we draw them. But, like, losing turn 1 with double pact is pretty tough against Oops. I don't think there's really a hand that beats that other than having, like, Deafening Silence and Trap. I still think Deafening Silence and Oof is, or Trap and Oof is pretty good, but just doesn't play. Hey, I play bad decks. Welcome. I think there's, nothing I really want to say about the deck. I just want to keep trying it out. There's a world where, like, Tracker could be something else, like another choke even against these Jeskai decks, but I really like I do like Trackers, just it comes in against a lot of sort of grindy matchups that I wanted, so that's pretty sweet. It's like green-white D&T, but better. Yeah, I think the green-white version of this deck is kind of where the basis of this came from, and then just that light splash of Grist in the main deck and Plague in the side, because I wanted answers to go-wide strategies, which green-white doesn't technically have, and Grist just being green sunnable, once upon a timeable removal is really, really nice. So that's pretty cool, but that's going to be me. A huge thank you to you guys for coming and watching. I'll be back on Thursday with a Dark Confidant Dead Guy AO list, which is sweet. Going on the 4th iteration of that Maverick Joe's trophy bounty. So hopefully we can see some positive energy there. But until then, I'm going to see who else is streaming. If you guys want to find me on YouTube, you can of course find me here. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me here. Oh, Wafo's playing And he's playing the Modern Challenge, but Waffle is just a really good streamer that I'm more than happy to raid him. But hey, hope you guys have a nice weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you soon. As in, maybe even tomorrow night. Let's see how we go. We'll yeah, keep an eye out on my socials, and we'll see you then. Cheers.